welcome to the 9642 podcast. This is your host, Mr. NumberNine.
And this is The Fool.
Your 96 best place to listen to...
For 10 years.
Yes, for our 10th season of our mostly up-to-date...
And unqualified. And unrequested.
ramblings of the various issues in the world of sport.
Or something like that.
Hello everyone, and if you have all been on our Discord and seeing what we've been all excited about for the last 2 or 3 months, Hidden Cup is back!
Woo! Yeah! Well,
Yeah.
it's great.
It's great. After
Hidden Cup
4-year hiatus, as everybody's heart was broken as T90 went to Facebook Gaming, he's come back home. The prodigal son.
He made his money. He's okay. I'm sure he got well paid for that, and he deserved it, so it was fun.
I have no issues with him making his hard-earned and well-deserved money, as you have said.
Yeah.
But the sun is back.
We get Hidden Cup 5, so we say finally.
All is forgiven.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always exciting Hidden Cup. It's just one of those ones that just seems to bring the excitement, right?
Arguably now, given all the dramas happening with StarCraft 2, with Facebook Gaming, and everything else, it's the best esport tournament? Question mark? Not really question mark, it is?
Definitely for an RTS type game, yeah. I don't think there's much to go against it.
Yeah, okay, let's be fair. Age community is better than every other online gaming community.
Oh, 100%.
I think, without a doubt.
Yeah, easy. That's an easy win.
Yes, and the best of the community kind of is on display during Hidden Cup.
Yeah. It is, the best time for being in the community for Age of Empires 2. It's just really great to say it. And something about T90's channel as well, just brings out even more of the best. It's just a lot of fun. And
agreed.
Yeah. And he's really good caster of it as well, so that really helps. Not that I don't enjoy a few other casters, but I always come back to T90.
There's a few guest commentators that haven't been announced yet, but I'm pretty sure Dave will be back.
Yeah.
And they've had a few ex-players come in, and it's great because eliminated players from earlier rounds helped him play the maps and test them out. Microsoft and the map makers, the game developers, they've given him so much support as well. Yeah. For this tournament.
We got a T90 patch for it because of it, so that's great.
Yeah. That's how much support they get from the developers, and then we don't even need to get into the community because obviously everybody's thrilled. We've all pretty much the worst thing about Facebook Gaming was that it meant no Hidden Cup, right?
Yeah. I mean, he probably could have done Hidden Cup there. I think the worry was just that enough of the community sort of didn't really come across to Facebook Gaming. So it would have been lower numbers. So I don't think he's really ever given reasons why he didn't run Hidden Cup whilst he was on Facebook. So.
Yeah, I mean, has any YouTuber not regretted going to Microsoft, going to Facebook Gaming, other than they're all well compensated for it?
Yeah, I mean that's the only benefit, isn't it? Yeah, they get paid a ton of money to go there, but then the platforms.
But there's a few that they were kind of excited by the project and they wanted to see if it could be something new that they could be a part of, like Toast.
Yeah, exactly.
And Toast's community obviously is Toast is fine. He's still the biggest Twitch streamer on the planet.
Yeah.
But there's not everybody could have survived the way he did.
No. But you're right. So there was I think a lot of them were hoping that it was going to be something useful, because Twitch has its own problems, and
Which has a lot of problems.
yeah, and from what I understand from casters, like it's a lot of problems for casters, like ridiculously so. So I think there was a lot of hope from casters that Facebook gaming would help that, or at least provide an alternative. So therefore there was some competition, but it appears that just didn't.
Some competition that wasn't Google claiming that they're not competition, but totally were.
Yeah, that's it.
Because, YouTube and Twitch are not really in competition.
No.
Like, even YouTube Live, just because it's they're so intertwined and, like, symbiotic with each other.
Yeah. So,
whereas...
Yeah, because even T90 was saying in one of the streams leading up to the Cup here, I think one of the show matches, that he's able to cast to YouTube Live and Twitch at the same time. Like neither of them complain about casting to either. He can't the only thing he can't do apparently is display the separate chats, the different chats in both. So he can't combine YouTube chat and Twitch chat. He has to have them separate and display them separate. So only when you're watching on Twitch, you only see the Twitch chat, and if you watch on YouTube Live, you can only see the YouTube chat.
Which makes sense.
Which makes sense, yeah. But yeah, otherwise they don't really care.
Both communities have different standards for chat. Yeah. A YouTube chat is nothing like a Twitch chat.
No.
Like, we can agree with that. Like, anybody who's watched a live stream on YouTube versus a live stream on Twitch.
Yeah. It's a different thing. Completely different thing.
Yeah. Yes. And the community standard, like, Twitch wouldn't be what it is if it didn't have the community, like the relatively less regimented or the more free chat that it has now, but it wouldn't fly on YouTube, and it makes sense why it doesn't fly on YouTube.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's
basically, your mom's on YouTube. That's why you can't swear on YouTube live without getting demonetized. Like, am I wrong?
You're not wrong. You're right.
That is the reason. And YouTube doesn't want your mom to see swears, and neither should you.
No, exactly.
Young man.
Exactly. Saying those sort of words around your mum. Oh my.
Yeah, no. So disrespectful. But on to the tournament. The format we love is back. We have the map pool has been revealed. We shall get to that, but we'll go through our let's go to the map pool first, because we've got a few players to review, and we're going to give everybody their time in the sun. First up in our the tournament, just for everybody's knowledge, it will start on the 25th of February, so this Monday if you're in New Zealand, and obviously Sunday if you're in the United States.
Yeah.
And it will finish on the 3rd of March.
Yes.
Which is on Sunday the week after. So it's a good week-long tournament.
Yeah. Good.
Of like a good 4 or 5 hours of Age of Empires to watch.
Yeah. And as I understand
there's
it'll
not
be
much work getting done.
Yeah, and the first round will be 2 games a day, or 2 sets a day, say. So 2 brackets a day, and then quarterfinals, that's over 2 days as well, and then semi-finals 1 day, and final 3rd place. And the finals best of 9, the rest are best of 7.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Which is about right, which is good. And I guess we should tell people, just in case people don't know, Hidden Cup, all the competitors are hidden. They don't know their names. They get a pseudonym, and it's a random bracket as well. So it's quite possible that 2 of the top players could be playing each other in round 1 and knock each other out, or one of them knock each other out. So
it would be extremely disappointing if the Viper and Hera played each other in the first round.
Yeah, it'd be very disappointing.
I'm just saying. But
one
we
of
know
those
that it's a
rounds.
random draw. We saw Kristen do it on live stream,
Yeah.
so we know that it's random.
It's very random. So it is possible, yeah, that Hero and Viper play first round. It could happen. But you wouldn't know until the end. So the other fun thing, of course, is trying to guess everyone. And I did see on the live stream from T90 that he said in Hidden Cup 4, because the players after each round the losers get to guess who they were playing. And basically the players were wrong the most. Like, they were just so not right. It was basically everybody lost when I was playing Viper or I was playing Hero. And they were like, you're wrong, except for the random ones that were right.
Well, Doubt always thinks he beat Viper in the first round.
Yeah.
Or like he's only ever lost to Viper. Like that's always his, that's what he generally thinks.
Yeah.
Is happening. Now, looking at our map pool, we have the standard map, the map that we all know, we all try to get good at, and none of us play online if we're not above a certain elo, Arabia.
Arabia, yeah.
It's the standard play. It'll generally be the first map pick.
Yeah.
Obviously, nobody will be allowed to ban it. I don't think. It'll almost. Actually, no, you're not allowed to ban maps. You're only allowed to ban civilizations.
Yeah, I think in previous years, Arabia had always been the first game. The first game was in Arabia, and then the loser would play.
The loser then decides the next map, and I think that is still the format.
Yeah. Well, you have
Arabia
you pick your own maps, and then you go to one of yours.
Yeah. So Arabia will be there, obviously. Next up, we have Bay, or more popularly known as Pants. This map has a little lake in the middle at the bottom when the two civilizations will start on either side of each other. There are many opportunities to wall in this map and also do fishing, and there is a hill at the top of the map which is full of resources which people will probably fight over at the end of the game. Gold and stone will be up there a lot. So that is a great hybrid map. The water is important, but it becomes less important as the game progresses, but it's still there. It's something you need to keep an eye on because people will be able to sneak in villagers and all that fun stuff.
As I remember, there's plenty of fish in there as well. So early game, you want to get that control so that you get all that sweet food.
Absolutely. Next up, we have the bypass. This map is only been recently created. It's become a bit of a tournament favorite. So it's similar to Hideout, except there is a pathway in the middle with a gate, palisade gate, with a relic in there where the two sides can fight over, or they can decide to wall. You're not allowed to build on that in that middle part, apart from right next one tile next to the gate. So it's definitely a very defendable map. It's the only closed map in this tournament. It's basically they didn't want to have arena, and so they had this. And Hideout has problems as well.
Yeah. I mean, this I think seems a good balanced option. Yeah. Really, as you say, away from the super closed of arena or even Hideout, so that it's a little bit closed, but you're not going to have 10-hour long matches or anything silly like that.
Yeah. Next up, we have Cross. This one was there in Hidden Cup 2020. There are 4 lakes in each corner, and each player has 2 lakes close by to them. this is a map where if you make a decision early on whether you go for 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 lakes to try and push in your opponent, or maybe while you're going for the lakes, your opponent takes the middle and destroys you with superior map control.
Yeah,
There's a lot of strategy in this game. I imagine this one will be really popular with the players. It gives you a chance. The water is important. You will be building boats, but also which lake do you want to commit your naval resources? It's one of those strategic maps where you really need to think about it.
Yeah, exactly. And the resources are reasonably well based around this one as well, so it tends to get some really good battles going. I think some of the more exciting matchups tend to use cross/4 lakes. It really seems to bring out the best in players.
Yeah. And because it has both the water and the land aspect, it means it makes a lot of civs viable on these maps.
Yeah, exactly.
The next up we have Cup, a super interesting map, one where it is quite defensible, but you do need to get onto the water. Water control is not a nice to have here. I think you need it.
Yeah.
And the map is designed as such where you will want to battle over the resources in the top island at the top of the cup, and also you'll be fighting over the bridge. But also, the two lakes are not connected to each other, so you have to decide how you want to split up your navy.
Yeah, exactly.
Looking forward to seeing some very, very cool strategies on this map.
Yeah, it's another one. This one, like Bay or Pants, is also great because these are sort of original Hidden Cup maps as well. When he started getting official maps made, it makes it quite fun. So as I understand it, it's like the same ones that tweaked over time as they work on the balance. So it'll be awesome seeing them that.
Yeah.
I think the qualifiers had some rather fun. Oh no, they didn't use it. No, that's right, they didn't use it for the qualifiers.
No, they didn't. There was less of a map pool in the qualifiers. There's more options in the main tournament.
Yes, this is one of the ones that was out.
Also, a lot of these maps had not yet been tested, like Evacuation, which is the next map.
Yeah.
Players will be starting off in the middle where there's not many trees and it's hilly and there's not as much space. It's defensible, but at some point you will need to evacuate to the mainland.
Yeah.
There's plenty of resources in the water as well, but you can decide to forego water and just take map control in the beginning, how early you want to move. I already see this as like a Cuman's win map. Just because in the feudal age, that's what I would do. Go and build another town center in the mainland.
Exactly.
And start booming early, use your superior eco to beat. But I'm sure all the other players have been thinking that way as well. There's so many opportunities to raid on the sea. If you take water control early, can you prevent people from landing onto the mainland? There's many viable strategies, so it's definitely going to be interesting. And it's a map we haven't seen before, so there is no meta for this map.
Exactly, that's going to be the interesting thing as these players sort of practice over this week before the week when they get to play it. So it'll be interesting to see how these pros sort of take to this sort of map. As you say, it's a very interesting one. So as I say, very new.
Next up, we have the always popular Gold Rush. Now, if you haven't played Age of Empires since 1998, this Gold Rush map will look a bit different to you. They've changed the format a little bit. There are now hills in the middle, which you want to control, and map control is designed around getting the high ground. There's still a buckload of gold in the middle as well.
Yeah.
So controlling the middle does get you control of the game. I think this is an excellent map. Everybody knows the meta. It's pushing out, controlling the middle, and then trying to, and if you're losing in the middle, you start raiding around the flanks. And then it's basically you'll see this game. This is the map where the lead changes often and tempo switches between players, especially if they're evenly matched.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see. I'm pretty sure almost every matchup will have a Gold Rush game, because everybody thinks they're good at Gold Rush.
Yeah, exactly.
Next up, we have Hidden Forts. I believe this is another map created for this tournament. There is a tree line with some resources in the middle, easy to defend yourself, and or you can decide to go around and start attacking. This is the closest we have to a very defensive map.
Yeah.
Like, the games will last a long time, I'm sure. Look to see a few Onager civs here, power through to get that gold. This map reads defensive, but I feel like everybody's gonna play very attacking on it.
I think this is the one, if I remember correctly, the tiles next to the wood line, you can't build on. So if you chop through, you then can't wall behind.
Yeah.
But I did see a really good game, which I think was the show match one, the Hidden Cup, which was Daniel versus Magulagu, and it was a crazy game that included a Flemish revolution, if I remember correctly. I think that was this one. So there was a big backwards and forwards and everything. It was just one of those crazy games. But yeah, let's say semi-closed this one. The players can close it fairly well, or they can play it open. But if you're playing, if you want the center resources, you have to play open. And if you play closed, you pretty much can't get the center resources. So it makes an interesting strategy there.
And also you're losing map control because you're giving up the center. Excuse me.
Well, you can get around the sides, but you give up all of the center to the other player if you try to play it closed. So it's a lot of, that is a lot of map control, a lot of resources to be giving up early on. But the benefit is being a closed map, being closed and being able to be more defensive. So.
Yeah. Next, after that, we have another Hidden Cup gem at the High Tides. Another super interesting map where you've got resources at the bottom, which you have to cross the water for. You have water resources at the top, including an island with a lot of gold and relics, and then you've got a reasonably open map, Arabia style.
Yeah, and this is another one where they've tweaked so that resources at the bottom, they've changed that a bit as well. So there's some food resources down there. I think some deer and something else is down there. I think there might be some rhinos or some boars or something. So that adds extra resources down there. So apparently during at least one of the show matches, the map was bugged. It had the old Hidden Cup 4 version, not the Hidden Cup 3.
Yeah. Well, the bug has been fixed, we'll get to see it in its proper form, hopefully, in the tournament, and we're looking forward to seeing if anybody's going to go for that early food in the bottom. It's definitely worth it for some of the civs to do that. And Next up, we have islands. One of the old ones, an oldie and a goodie. This is a map that often gets hated on by fans, but I love it. I think the fact that you've got 2 relics on each side and another relic in the middle, and there's the sneaky villager shenanigans. There's just everything in this map.
Yeah, exactly. I like it just because it's a good foil to Arabia, right? They're the two sort of really standard old ones, and it just is a completely different playstyle to Arabia. So it's sort of a good foil to that. And you do find that, I think, a little bit. You have players that may be a little bit more specialist in Arabia, and then others that are more of the water maps, so they're specialist at islands. So I think it's always a fun thing. You say you get interesting things, sneaky villager drops, T90, building archery ranges on neutral islands, these sort of things. Always fun.
Absolutely. Next up, we have a Mudflow, a map that has a lot of fans, like the new terrain introduced in the later expansions, which includes the is it swamp terrain they call it, or mangrove?
Oh, mangrove, I think.
Yeah, mangroves. So the middle is both walkable and shippable. So demos will be going out. Your town center is also surrounded by mangroves, so there will be opportunities to do fish farming if you want.
Yeah, that's right.
Depending on certain civs. So you could decide to use wood instead of food to gather resources.
Yeah.
So this map is going to be really, really interesting. There's plenty of wood in the middle as well, and this is a map where you could see wood run out.
Yeah.
And I think this is a map that everybody seems to think the Malay are going to dominate, but I think sneakily the Spanish.
Oh yeah.
Controlling the map with their very, very accurate and fast-firing cannon galleons.
Yeah.
Once you get a mass of them, they kind of become a force of nature.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you also get a mass of conquistadors that become a force. I think the Spanish are a bit OP.
Hey, this sort of thing, yeah. I can't remember a great Spanish victory in Hidden Cup 4 on this, but I do remember some good battles from Hidden Cup 4 on Mudflow, just because of that. You say ships versus land, everybody going at it.
It's the map that brings demos into the game.
Yeah.
And the next map we have is Pokeball or Quarry.
Yeah.
Where it's slightly defensible. There is a hill in the middle with resources which you can block off if you wish. And there's the tree lines in the bottom. There's plenty of wood. This is a map where resources will last and you can get defensive.
Yeah.
But really, like, everybody, this is map control. Control the center, build your walls, defend properly, you win this map. There's a strategy here. But, your opponent also knows that strategy, so sneaky raids, little sneaky auditors around the wood line, go around and get through your back.
Yeah.
You'll see it all, I'm sure.
I'm sure you will.
By the way, if you see a player do that, that guy is Viper. Just letting you know.
Viper confirmed.
Viper confirmed, indeed.
The most said line in chat during any Hidden Cup.
Viper confirmed, or as soon as somebody starts making farms, it's like doubt confirmed.
Yeah.
Now, next up, we have slopes. It's an open valley, very, very resources at the top with thin strips where you can't build on. Lots of forest. This is an open map where having control of the high ground is really, really paramount. I think usually there are places for you to be able to defend around tree lines, and you'll want to move towards the top wood to try and defend yourself a bit more.
Yeah.
There's also some good food resources up there. Generally, some hunt.
Yeah.
And so players will start fighting for it early. I think this is a great map if you want to play on an open map and generally raid a lot. The power of this is a map that shows the power of raiding.
Yeah.
So it was awesome in Hidden Cup 4 to see how the players use this map. I expect no different this time.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is one of those ones also where you get some really great games. You say power of raiding. If someone can raid well, then they will dominate on this map. But yeah, plenty of resources around and plenty of places to rebrew as well, so that makes for comebacks.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let's we go to our participants. Or should we talk about our actual people that are going to play, the actual players?
The players, not the identities?
Not the identities, the identities. Should we go through the identities first?
Yes, let's go through the identities.
First
heroes.
up, we have Vasco da Gama, the great Portuguese explorer who first sailed around the Cape of Good Hope and found the sea route to India. First European to find a sea route to India. And we have Pachacuti, the last Incan emperor before Pablo Pizarro showed up at the peak of the Incan Empire.
Yeah.
We have a colonizer and a country that got colonized. It's a classic matchup.
Yes.
Next up, we have Sumanguru from the Mali Empire.
Yeah.
He founded the empire after conquering several kingdoms in modern-day West Africa.
Yeah.
And he is coming up against Jean Beru, who's French. So, there's history there. Everybody has history with the French. He's the guy who basically invented French artillery tactics.
All right, yeah.
So, a very, very important figure. I believe he's a bombard cannon on his unit.
Yes, no, that's what they were saying in the stream when they were talking about it.
Yeah. Next up, we have Jadwiga, also known as Hedwig, the first woman to be crowned as king of Poland, because you're still a king.
Yeah.
Classic badass female leader, and also she's the Civ 6 leader, so I assume that she's one of the greats of Polish history. Then we have Otto the First, the Holy Roman Emperor and ruler of Saxony.
Yeah.
Enough said. Then with Germany versus Poland, classic matchup once again.
Yeah.
And then we have Pope Gregory the Seventh, known by some as the Battle Pope.
Yeah.
As one of the people who made the Papal States go up in territory and influence in Italy, going up against Gajah, the prime minister of the Majapahit Empire during their peak. At that time, they were all basically modern-day Indonesia plus Malaysia and the Philippines.
All right. Yeah.
And some territory in Thailand.
All right. So yeah, that's good.
But yes, so Indonesia versus the Pope. Don't know much about why that's happening. Next one, we actually have a historic fight. We have Stephen of England, who is actually a contemporary of Selim the Grim, the Turkish Sultan. This is a guy that T90 is backing to win the tournament.
He's all in on Selim the Grim.
Selim the Grim. Next up, we have the fan favorite, Alfred the Alpaca. Woo! Obviously the guy who's gonna win.
Yeah.
There's no question whatsoever. Also, because Alfred the Alpaca is OP. We all know this.
Yeah, exactly. Just straight up OP. Can't lose.
Can't lose. And he's going up against Jan Zitka, another general from the Czech Republic. Nicknamed the One-Eyed, and he seems pretty cool, but we all know you're not gonna beat the alpaca.
Yeah, exactly.
And our next identity is Alexios Komnios, the man who is PK2 players and Total War Medieval players will be no strangers to him.
Yeah.
He is also the hero or protagonist of the Alexiad.
Yes.
Talking about his rivalry with the Sultanate of Rum, which is in Turkey, and he is up against Robert Guiscard, who is also his contemporary. Who helped found the empire in Sicily and did a slight bit of raiding in the Byzantine Empire, just a little bit. Just ever so slightly. Just a bit here and there, tiny morsel here, a bit of Sicily over there, a bit of Sardinia over here. As you do.
It's fine.
So those are our players. I mean, you and I are going for Alfred, I'm sure.
Can't go past Alfred.
Yeah. And
perhaps in the top half, I'd probably go with Jadwiga, because kick-ass king of
girl
Poland. Girl power.
Yeah. Also, she's the only girl boss.
Yeah, exactly.
In our brackets. Oh, we forgot also there was we missed Khosrau, who was the emperor of Persia when he came up against just before the Rashidun Caliphate was to conquer Persia, and Emperor Sigismund, who was King of Germany, King of Bohemia, and the Holy Roman Empire. I think we call that the trifecta.
Yeah.
Germany versus Persia. It's not that classic a matchup, but no doubt it'll be interesting.
That will be very interesting.
Next, we are going to our players. Now, there were 7 players who were invited into this tournament. They are in alphabetical order: A, CCM, Doubt, Kira, Jordan, Leary, Mr. Yo, and the Viper. And Jordan has been playing Age of Empires for so long that he actually has _ in his name. That's how old his username is. It wasn't taken away from...
Needed to be clear.
Yeah. Now, we'll go in the alphabetical order. ACCM hails from Vietnam.
Yeah.
He was one of the invited players. Another player from Vietnam couldn't make it. Backed. He had to decline his position. We're not exactly sure why, but he's a family man with kids, so maybe he was just too busy. Makes sense as someone who's in a similar position to him.
Yeah, exactly.
He is like a favorite amongst the player community. He usually brings his wife and kids to conventions and tournaments when they're like face-to-face tournaments.
All right, yeah. That's always nice.
Now, speaking of ACCM, his last hidden cup, he was defeated by Jordan, who eventually made it to the finals.
Yeah.
So he lost 1-3. Basically, finished in the second or third to last tier. So he is a very good player with a very good record in this tournament. Next up, we have the creator of the Age of Empires expanded universe and our Lord and Savior, Doubt.
Yes, all hail Doubt.
All hail, all hail. The man who played Age of Empires before the game even came out and told everybody it was going to be good. And then also, saved everyone by giving them Age of Empires.
Exactly.
Doubt is a long-time #1 player. Look, it would be amazing if Doubt won Hidden Cup.
That would be super amazing.
Yes, but he's not been that level of player. He's still way better. He's still one of the top 10 players in the world. He's incredibly good. And of course he can win, but it would be a surprise, shall we say. Not a shock, a surprise.
No. I mean, he'll do well. I would imagine, with the proviso that the first round was completely random, who knows? You'd expect him to get through a round or two, maybe to the through the quarterfinals, maybe even to the semi-finals. Assuming if he had a reasonable matchup, if luck was on his side for the matchups,
Yeah.
We'll see.
I believe in the last Hidden Cup he lost in the first round, I want to say.
I'm pretty sure he did.
But he came up against someone like Jordan or Hera, from what I remember, so, what are you going to do?
Exactly.
Recently, he's not been bad. He took Viper to a Game 7 in the Neely's Apartment Cup.
No, in Hidden Cup 4, he beat Philanese in the first round, then lost to Mr. Yo in the second, in the quarters.
Mr. Yo, once again, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's Mr. freaking Yo.
Mr. freaking Yo. Exactly, it's not really much you can do there.
Yeah. Next up, we have the defending champion and #1 seed representing Gamer Legion, Hera.
Yeah.
Who basically, it was a shock that he won, but he defeated Viper on his way to the finals. So it wasn't like Viper coming third. That's his lowest ever placing in the tournament.
No, I remember watching that semi-final. It was amazing, and then later finding out it was Hera versus Viper. It was it
was an incredible match, show match. The show match of the tournament. Obviously, the two best players played up again. At least it was in the semis. It wasn't in the first round. I think absolutely worthy champion. I mean, he has the highest ELO for any ever player, and he's a regular noob adopter, all-round good guy. So there's a reason why he's the favorite.
Yeah, exactly.
And next up, we have Jordan AOE. Now this guy, we were in tears when he made the finals. He qualified, so would put all his effort in. He retired from Age of Empires for almost a decade. He used to be the best in the world. And he met Viper in real life, got motivated to come back into the game, and convinced Viper to move to Germany. And then so much has happened, and then he grinded his way back to the top and made it to the finals all the way in the Hidden Cup. Now, he was the sentimental favorite to win, but you know, you lost to Hira, no shame in that. And he beat Mr. Yo on his way to the final.
It's just straight up amazing, really. That run.
Yeah.
Like it was just amazing watching that. And then watching it back, knowing who it was, just be like, yeah. Jordan at full flight is always nice.
Absolutely. Then after that we have Leary, the Austrian maniac, or representing Aftermath.
Yeah.
This guy is known for his incredible micro and quick skills. It was used to be a joke that Leary is 8 years old. Because he was for a long time the youngest player in the age of in the professional Age of Empires community.
Yes.
He came up against Hira in the second round. Once again, not much you can do when that happens.
Exactly.
So he lost to him. He had a really good tournament. I would not be surprised, depending on how the draw falls out, to see him go all the way to the final or the semi-final. He's that level of player. He's as good as any player on this list. On his day, can be as good as Viper or Hira, even when Hira and Viper are playing well.
Yeah, exactly.
Next up, we have Mr. Yo. I think should be the third seed of the tournament.
Yeah, probably. I don't see. Yeah, third seed, I would say. Definitely. He should be saying this because he gets very unlucky with draws. You'd think he'd definitely make it through the semis.
And he's a defending world champion, leading China to the Nations Cup in 2023.
Yeah.
And he came second in the Neely's Apartment Cup.
Yeah.
And he lost to Hira, so once again, can't really argue with that. This guy is an absolute pro, plays in every big tournament. He's one of the best players going around. He was one of the favorites for Hidden Cup 4. And he was upset by Jordan. Like that was one of the games of the round. Jordan beat him 4-1. Incredible performance from Jordan. Then, up we have the man, the myth, the legend, the Viper.
The Viper.
The people's champion. Is that fair to say?
I think just about every tournament he enters, yes, he's the people's champion. It's just straight up, everybody just wants him to win.
Yes. He's been playing. He's not been playing too many tournaments in Age of Empires 2, but he makes up for that by playing a lot of Age of Mythology and Age of Empires 4. So this guy is a machine, and he plays a bit of StarCraft too. Just
Oh, really? Wow,
just casually.
Just casually.
But this guy, he came third in the last Hidden Cup. Obviously, as we were saying, played the match of the tournament when he's been in iffy form. Hira swept him in the Neely's Apartment Cup.
Right, yeah.
Lost 5-0.
Yeah, but I suppose it is Hira, so
It's Hira, and also
very good.
He's a favorite for a reason. That's the sort of form Hira's in. Like in my head, I think Hira is head and shoulders above everyone else. Like how Viper was coming into every every Hidden Cup tournament before Hidden Cup 4. Before Viper did his three-peat, Hira was head and shoulders above everybody else. And then the next tier, you have the Viper, Mr. Yo, and then you have players like Leary, ACCM, Jordan, and Doubt.
Yeah.
That be fair?
I think that's very fair.
Obviously, MBL.
Yeah. NBL, say out of the qualifiers, we haven't gone through yet, but yeah, NBL's in there.
Yeah.
He's probably the best out of those. Though you do have Vinchester and Tato and Bales, obviously. They're all very good players.
Very good players. So like the qualifying tournament was huge. I managed to catch a lot of good games. Let's go through alphabetical order. Barles, absolute veteran of this tournament, regularly manages to make it to the to qualify. He unfortunately lost in the first round, but he came up against ACCM. Look, there is no shame in even losing the first round in this tournament. You're gonna come up against someone really, really, really good.
Yeah, exactly. And it could be anyone. And say it just. The other fun thing about the first round is that this is the first time, like, at least in the quarterfinals, you can go and watch you can do a bit of research on that particular player and be like trying to work it out. But here you're just thrown in cold. You don't know. It could be anyone. You have no idea.
Yeah, and like let's just say like people who have been in the Hidden Cup before and gone deep, players like Vivi, Dogao are not in this Hidden Cup. They did not qualify.
No.
So it's a great achievement to have made it this far, and he qualified without the second round, I believe. So he's done really well. And then we have Ganji, a newer player. He finally managed to qualify for the Hidden Cup.
Yeah.
So his first qualification, beating Stark to get here. Then we have he lost to MBL and they had to go through second round, but you know it's MBL, guys.
Yeah. I mean, he did as well. Like in that qualifiers, beat Villanese.
Yeah.
So yeah, lost to MBL, beat Ozone and Survivalist. I don't know much about it anyway, but Villanese and Stark in your list of people defeated to get to the main draw is nothing to sneeze at. That definitely shows that he can do something.
Yeah. He's a player to watch out for. Then we have Hart, player who's been around the Age of Empires scene for a long time. He's just upped his tournament game, kind of I guess maturing as a player. He's a bit younger than some of the other veterans. He got beaten by Tato once again. No shame in that. It's Tato, and then very easily defeated Babaram. It was a very convincing 4-1. Babaram was the people's champion of the qualifying rounds because he was the only non-professional player.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
In the tournament, and he made it all the way to the second chance draw.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not to be. But France has a few other representatives. Then we have MBL. This guy was one of the favorites in Hidden Cup 1 and 2, and he qualified directly in Hidden Cup 4, and he had to go through the qualifiers, but he swept through. He is a Age of Empires legend, part of Aftermath with Leary. Expect to see him do very well in this tournament, unless he draws Hira in the first round.
Yeah, exactly. Be unfortunate for MBL if that happens. Just to say, he's a very good player. You would hope that he make his way through.
Even if he drew Viper, you could go, oh, maybe. But Hira, I think, is like almost a rock to his scissors in style.
Yeah, that's a very very apt way of putting that, I think.
Yeah. And then we have newcomer Mihai06. Player from Romania. He's just come up through the professional ranks now, and He's only just turned 20 last year. Total earnings of roughly $2,600 over his lifetime. He had a very interesting run-in to qualify. He lost to Winchester 2-4. I watched that show match. It was very, very close. Every match kind of went to 40 minutes almost. And full pop fighting each other. So this was like an epic battle. So 4-2 kind of complements Winchester, and it's still close.
Yeah.
And then he swept Sobek. And Sobek looked impressive in the rounds so far. So he's a player that can do quite well, I think. He likes to make games go long.
Yeah, I saw a few of the early games in the qualifier. I saw him play Overtaken. I think I saw a few of the Margogo ones. But yeah, no, he definitely, Mihai definitely seemed, quite an aggressive player, quite a player that made sure things happened. Other than, I think it was the Overtaken one, they might have played Gold Rush the first map. Yeah. And he was quite passive, and Overtaken sort of just rolled through him. But after that, it seemed to wake Mihai up, and he definitely, stepped up and showed that he's a very good player. So I'm quite looking forward to seeing him as well.
Yeah. Next up, we have Sebastian 2002 from Uruguay. Another new first timer. We just gotta love it to see so many first timers join the Hidden Cup. He had a great run into the tournament before he lost 3-0 to freaking Andy. He qualified directly. He didn't go to second chance. He swept. He didn't lose a single match in the qualifier. He went all the way through undefeated. So he is one to watch out for. I didn't catch any of his games, so I don't know what his style is, but the results kind of speak for itself.
Yeah, exactly. He's definitely shown that he has you say he didn't lose a game in the qualifiers. You can't say much more than that, but that shows he has class, and that he's also informed. So he could be someone to look out for. It could be someone that could actually spoil a few things, and you might see him through to quarterfinal or even potentially semi-final if he gets a very lucky run.
Yeah. The next player, I did watch a couple of his matches. Sito, I didn't know much about him before watching him in the qualifiers. He's had a reasonably long career, actually. Approximate career winnings of 30,000, which in the Age of Empires, that's a lot for a player who's not named Viper or Hera. Yeah. And he swept through his qualifiers. He also had a very interesting match against Sobek. All the games went to 40 minutes plus, but he won 4-1. What really impressed me about him is he seemed to never lose his cool. There was always a plan and a thought around what he was trying to do. When the opponents would get momentum, he would just do something annoying and then start raiding, and he just never let his opponents feel comfortable. And he would patiently win out games, just take his time and be cool, but also keep the tempo, Yeah. So I was quite impressed with him. I think he could be a hidden. He could be in the Hidden Cup. I think quite effective. I would not be surprised if he went far and actually took a few scalps. I mean, I'm not saying Hera or even the Viper, but Mr. Yo, Leary, the players he can beat, I think, is at current level that he's playing at.
Yeah, very possible.
Next up, we have Tato, another veteran of this game, a man who has made over nearly $200,000 in career lifetime earnings. So, upper pro, he's obviously swept his way through. He only lost the one match in the qualifiers.
Yeah.
And he swept Hart, who's once again a player who's really, really good, as we mentioned. So, like, what else can we say? He's been teammates with Viper, Jordan, and Doubt for so long that and he's part of Gamer Legion, so you know he's good.
Yeah, he's very good. So you just know about it.
Yeah, and finally we have Winchester from Russia. He is another player who is a long-time pro. He has over $60,000 in career earnings. He managed to get almost come through through unscathed through qualifying, but he dropped 2 matches against Mihai. But like I said, that match against Mihai was very, very close. But Winchester kind of just showed his experience to win out those games, and obviously he built the Winchester Bozeman Rush, which using towers and walls in arena. But there is no arena here. But looking a guy who does tricky attacking stuff on a map which has walls, it might be Winchester.
Yeah, exactly. He's definitely someone that has a semi-unique style. So. Yeah.
I think Winchester and Doubt are players we're gonna know who they are.
Yeah.
Players like Hera and Viper, assuming they make it to the later rounds, that's where it'll become more obvious.
Yeah.
Whom they are.
The only thing
I think Mr. Yo has a very, very distinct style as well.
Yeah.
Should be very easy to catch. But if you see the great micro, it's probably Hera or Viper or Leary.
The thing is that occasionally, especially I think Viper and a little bit Hera as well, do like to try and mimic others' playstyle early on to try and throw off people.
Yeah.
Like there's a little bit of
those two only players good enough to do that though.
Yeah, I say Mr. Yo, I think Mr. Yo is probably good enough to do it, but Mr. Yo sort of doesn't care, that he just plays his style and does what he wants.
He plays the way that is good and lets him win because he runs a lot. He's won a lot.
I think also he really enjoys the way he plays, so he just doesn't worry about playing anything else and just like, whatever, I'll just win things.
Yeah, I think we can say we know that Hera is obviously the favorite. Viper is the people's champion, and Doubt is our Lord and Savior. Those are the players you need to watch out for.
Yeah, I would, unless because they hit each other, I think those 3 should be semi-finals, or maybe Mr. Yo as well. Like those would be your standard ones. I think they should make their. So a little bit depends on who they met going along, but if you're gonna want to put any money down, not knowing the order of the games, those would be the 4 that you'd be saying that'll be the semi-finalists.
Yeah, I concur. Like Doubt, unless he faces a Vera or a Viper and Mr. Yo, who I think are ahead of him, he's good enough to beat all the other players. More than good enough actually to beat all the other players.
I think definitely Jordan and Larry as the other invited ones would be a close match with Doubt. I know ACCM's actually really good, but I always feel out of those 7, I feel like he's the weakest of the invited. Like Bact would have been ahead of him if he could have played. Yeah, in fact, I think that just shows. Just if you think Bact, like Bact's a bit more closer to the others, and that would feel a bit more right sort of way. But ACCM.
Yeah, I
I
would
don't
be
want to diss
surprised if
ACCM, just, you know.
Yeah, I would be surprised if ACCM lost to any of the qualified players other than MBL.
Yeah, maybe Tato, Vinchester. Yeah, but the rest. So yeah, MBL is, I feel, the strongest out of those qualified. Tato and Vinchester have got the experience of it.
Barles is a veteran, and the rest are like newbies. They're here to make their marks, so we'll see what they're about.
Yeah, I think Hart played the last cup as well, didn't he? Or was it? No, maybe he was in the qualifiers. No, he didn't make the.
He was in the qualifiers, I believe. He's not.
That might be where I saw him. I remember seeing him play. But yeah, so I think it'll be a good series, to a good tournament though. It always is. It's always fun, and it's always worth getting into a live match and watching it through, because dear God, it gets crazy. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, definitely looking. I think it's going to be one of the most interesting hidden cups we've ever had, especially because we have so many new players. Nobody, I think, can take their places for granted. Even your people's champion Viper is gettable in this tournament by someone other than Hera. Yeah, no, definitely. So I think, potentially, as you said earlier, I think only Hera really is the only one that sort of should not be worried. Everybody else, that first round matchup could be a problematic.
Maybe I overstate it when I say he's head and shoulders above. Like, if to use a football metaphor, he might have a 4-point lead at the top of the table, but the season's yet to start, and that's a lead that can be overcome.
I think with Hera,
in terms of ability.
Yeah, exactly. I think the moment with Hera is just how well he's playing makes it. He's just playing so well that it's just hard to see him lose. And it's like, you compare him to the Viper. It was like the Viper 4 or 5 years ago, where the same thing. Where the reason why everybody loves the Viper is because there was a period there where it's just didn't seem like he could lose the game. He could do what he wanted and he'd win the game. Sometimes just by his mere name alone, but at the moment it feels like Hera's like that. That it's, Hera's just in such a good vein of form. He just is playing really well, and he's just winning everything. And it's hard not to, at the moment, to see that stopping. So you have to sort of back him. And the thing is that he seems to have a strategy for whoever he's playing. So it will be interesting to see the Hidden Cup. And I know he's been in several, been in Hidden Cups before, but just the fact that he won't know who he's playing could upset his style and upset his flow, especially if someone does try to psych him out by playing a style of someone else and seeing whether, the first couple of games, and see whether that can throw him off his stride. I mean, you have to sort of try and work out who you don't know who you're playing either, so it makes it hard to work it out. But I could see potentially that sort of just throwing Hera off a bit, and maybe that will give her an opportunity. But it's going to be a very, very.
We all want the finals to be a rematch between Hera and the Viper.
Yeah, I know.
And we want it to be an epic game.
Yeah, exactly.
But we'll see if we get that. These are the two best players, and the Viper is probably the best player to have ever played Age of Empires.
Yeah.
At his peak.
Yeah.
Hera is entering his peak right now. He's a 24-year-old. He's, this is not an excuse. Viper is gamer. Esport players start going over past their peak much earlier than other athletes, because it's about reflexes.
Yeah.
More than keeping, obviously I'm sure Viper keeps fit. I know he still plays football, and he must keep himself fit in that way. And I think all these other players, Doubt and Jordan, do their best to stay fit, but reflexes are one thing that you just can't train for.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. They're all professionals. Yeah, this is their living, so they will be doing it. But yeah, there are some things that just go. And I know Viper. I think he's got over his wrist problems he had a year back or so, year and a half back. So he seems to have got over that. But yeah, age will catch up to all of them. Who say reflexes are such an important part of any esport. But Age of Empires, micro is a large bit. If you can do good micro, you're going to get away with it, and that's reflexes, and that's quick hand movements with the mouse and good hotkey control. And if you're getting wrist problems and your reactions are starting to slow, that's going to be a problem against someone, say like Hera, who is at the top of that game and is really snapping at it. I mean, people like MBL Doubt, are finding ways of being good without having to have that sort of great reflexes. They're not as reliant on micro to get them through. They find other ways, and Viper's heading that way as well. But it's still, when you're facing someone like Hero who's top of the micro and top of his game, it's hard to get around that.
Yeah, I think it's one thing we should like breathe in. 4 years ago, we had a 20-year-old Hera and we had a 28-year-old Viper. That's the closest we're going to see two really great players at their peak playing, and they did push each other to the limit.
Yes.
So this is, I think, probably there's going to be new players who come up and they're going to challenge Hera, and I think for esports, that peak is probably between 25 and 28 in terms of your perfect reflexes and how well you've been able to train and get yourself knowledge and
that's probably very true. Yeah.
And being creative. After that, you make up for it a bit against players who are younger than that with your experience and just being calm and poised and just knowing the right thing to do at the right time, and then after that you're very reliant on other things, anticipation and overcoming the your strategy and tactics versus out microing.
Yeah, exactly.
But because you're an esport player, you will always have a certain level of reflexes. It's not going to go down as quickly as for people like you and me, for example.
Yeah, exactly. There's always going to be something there.
Yeah. So we'll see how that plays out, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's going to be incredible. I highly encourage everyone to go in and watch from Monday morning or Sunday, even Sunday afternoon if you're in the States. And shout out to T90, and I think that's all we have time for today. And look forward to seeing you next time.
Catch you next time.
Well, that is the end. Thanks for listening all the way through.
If you liked what you heard, we have even more. NineSixFourTwo Discord and a Buy Me a Coffee.
Pretty sure it's Buy Me a Beer.
Oh yeah, buy me a beer on buymeacoffee.com.
In both these places, you can talk to us, and we may even listen, especially if you do buy a said beer or coffee. I might still be confused.
Yes, we're easily bribed. All links are in the show notes below.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
This is on YouTube.